you meet all kinds of stars, celebrities, you know. I mean, whether they be actors, whether they be singers, whatever. And so I want to make a toll here of who has seen. We pretty much know who won already, Greg, don't we?
I say yes, but
You've seen a lot. Yeah, you have.
There is some close.
You snuck backstage to way more concerts than anybody.
Remember, we opened up. We were the first one on.
That's true. Out of control.
And,
you're right.
And all the traveling that we, but the people that Peter over there met. I mean, those are some of the names.
So we can start with him first. Want to start with him first?
Let's start with Elvis and the peanut butter sandwich.
Peanut butter sandwich, yeah.
Bananas.
Yeah, bananas, peanut butter and bananas.
What do you want to know?
I want to know how many celebrities you interviewed back in the 50s. But there's other ones. There's other ones too, because you and I have done them too together.
I think the easier question: who didn't you interview?
Who I didn't interview?
Yes.
Tennessee Ernie Ford.
Okay, who would you have liked to interview? Would have been a better question that you didn't interview.
Singer?
Anybody? Yeah.
Anybody?
Celebrity. This is radio here. Come on.
I'm trying to think of the people that I didn't talk to, which is there's quite a few of them.
Well, see, I know.
But I met them. All the ones that I really idolized and wanted to talk to, I did.
Frank Sinatra.
I did. I would have loved to have done that. I didn't. No.
See, I know.
Yeah. Well, see, you had to. The mind. You had to wake me up a little bit.
I want to answer questions for him too, because I know who they are too. But
who would like be your top 10 or whatever? Who are the people you really was like you were awestruck?
The ones that came from
Elvis,
Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, Carl Perkins,
Roy Orbison.
The creators of rock and roll.
That's the group right there.
But they turned down a lot of artists, though. They did turn down some big names. People that went to other places.
Well, Screamin' Jay was there too first, before Elvis and all them.
Well, there was a lot of them that I didn't realize until we went to the Sun Company that actually did work for Sun.
Right.
I can't think of it on the top of my head, but...
Well, tell the story about Elvis, when you met Elvis, about being the nice guy, and you said, do I have to pry it out of your head or what?
Number one, this lady sitting next to me was a little bit more professional type of person. I was the water boy. I was never the chief man in the radio studio.
Well, you were 16 years old, just out of high school.
16 to 22. I mean, I was the guy sitting over here like this.
That was Annette Funicello.
Annette Funicello, Fabian, Frankie Avalon, Bobby Darin, they're all in a group of their own. That was all the RPI Fieldhouse in Albany, New York.
Yeah, that was was it WKBW?
Elvis, WPTR, TRY, 1540 on your dial, Albany, Schenectady, Troy. Top 40, rock and roll.
I think Peter won.
Yeah, well, he met Wolfman, too. We worked with Wolfman.
Well, when I was doing... What I was doing, again, I wasn't doing it, and his name was Tom Shannon, Mike Shannon, and WKBW in Buffalo, New York. I happened to be there. Don't ask me where the station was, because he did the midnight show, and it was always dark when we went there. And one day there was a knock on the door, like, okay, go let him in, go let him in. So I was the person who would go let him in. Who walks in? The Wolfman. I'm going, oh my gosh. You know how it is. And he came in and he joined the show. And
I remember the story you told me too about the Wolfman. You said that you went to the reunion at KBW and the Wolfman was there and you said, "Hi, I'm Peter Tripp, the curly headed kid from Third Row." And he said, "Oh, okay." Who are you?
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's pretty cool though. I always think that's very cool that you got to be part of radio back in the 50s when rock and roll was happening. So.
WPTR, TRY, WSNX, WABC out of New York, WKBW.
WABC.
WABC. And they were all short stinks.
They all stuck short, yeah.
Short stints, you know. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and
all the shows stink.
You were on. He was on one of the early Dick Clark shows too.
Oh, American Bandstand. We got on. I was able to meet Dick Clark, and Jackie Wilson was on there. The Platters were on there. And I'd have to.
And you fell in love with the woman in the platters. I can't remember her name, but you fell in love with her.
You know, it's been so many years. I used to know her name and the guy she danced with all the time.
Yeah.
And they were popular. Everybody knew them across the whole country. And she was lovely. Of course, again, I'm in my late teens, you know. Before I met my present wife of 45 years. You know, this was all before that, so.
So that's pretty hard to beat. I don't know who wants to go next.
It's really hard to beat.
Yeah, it's hard to beat.
Well, I can go on and on and on, but let's not get boring, you know.
I'm not bored. I don't know.
No, it's pretty great because you're like the historian of rock and roll of the people that you met.
I'm thinking about with you too. We used to do a lot of things with TV40. We got to go backstage with Kenny Rogers. Remember that at the LC when he was there?
Oh yeah, you hear the story about? We go backstage, right? I'm in awe. Kenny Rogers. I mean, forget all the other ones I met. So we're back there. We're watching them set up this stuff. I mean, I've never really seen this big setup they got. This guy's up there doing
the roadies
laser
are really
show,
cool.
laser show, and they wouldn't let us get close. They said that's close enough, guys. What he does up there is. So, okay, so we stood back and make a long story
with
short.
the little fake press passes.
Make a long story short.
TV40, baby.
Yeah, we thought we couldn't do the show. Remember? We didn't have tickets or anything else.
Right,
The show,
right.
we couldn't come and do the show. So we're sitting back in where they come in and out, talking to the guy back there, and I said, we weren't going to be in town or something. I said, well, now we're going to be here. We can't see the show. The guy said, here's a couple of passes.
Yeah, you got your scam. He got your scamming from you, or one of the two. I'm not sure which one.
Muskegon's 100.9, Talking Heads in Once in a Lifetime, and you know what, Oscar? We stumped the old guy already, man.
I know, right? Can you believe it?
He claimed he hadn't heard that song before, so I'm pretty impressed. I say we just end this interview right now.
There you go.
Hey, I'm really excited, folks, this afternoon here at the old Radio Ranch. Got a couple of OLE. We won't even
Watch
say
it there, buddy. I'm not as old as he is.
No, you're pretty darn close.
I know.
No, but
You're looking as we all said the same thing. Oh, with me, I've got Paul Phillips in the studio, and Paul, founder of DJs on the Run. And if you've been to a wedding in the last 50 years or so here in the Muskegon area, maybe a dance, a high school dance, could be a gig at the local pub, there's a really, really, really good chance that you fell in love, shook a leg, danced to, yelled at, flipped off Paul Phillips.
The last one
he hit them all, didn't he?
But and then Oscar Osbo is here as well. Oscar helps us out with some of the technical stuff here at Muskegon's 100.9, and I think Oscar, probably about 30 years ago is when I started working here. Yeah, right here, two floors up, man. Him and I started working together at LCS, so we go back well over 30 years. So welcome, you guys. And I basically I talked to Oscar, and he was saying, Paul's having a birthday, and so I thought, I don't know, I don't look at people. I wasn't going to say you're age 80, but I wasn't going to say your age at all, let people know how old you are or anything like that.
Thank you.
But what's interesting to me is, okay, we can be honest about that. Paul turned 80 years old this week, and you're still spinning.
Oh yeah, why not?
That's amazing.
Once you get it in your blood, it doesn't go out. You can't get rid of it.
So you're actually you've quit doing the weddings. You're not going full time. You're not DJs on the Run isn't really working at this point in time. But you've still kept yourself a couple of rigs, and if somebody needs, if you've got some regulars, some family friends, local pub owners that are friends of yours, and if they need a little bit of help, you'll pull the stuff out and go do it.
Yeah. In fact, we pulled it out last night, had it in the driveway for Halloween. So the other one is
the rig. You pulled out the rig last night.
Pulled out the rig last night. Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, this guy, everyone wants me to quit. So
Yeah.
Well, actually, it was he and I decided that was it. Wedding receptions were all done. Somebody wants to do an oldies dance or something like that, we're fine.
You'll do that.
Yep, we'll do that.
But still, so do you still stay up on the music or not necessarily? Or
yes.
do you pick, you have to do that?
Yep.
I can't imagine that. I would hate having to stay up on the music nowadays. And you know what's nice? I actually got a guy in the studio that's older than me, which feels kind of good right now. But how do you stay up on? How do you keep an open mind with music? That's got to be difficult. I've always thought I was very open-minded when it comes to music, but I'm getting to that point where I'm more and more like my dad all the time now, where I'll put on one of the top 40 stations and I can't stand to listen to it. How do you stay up? How do you keep educating yourself without going, hey, if it's over 1980, I'm not doing this?
Let me put it to you this way. When I go to work on the weekends, Friday and Saturday, from my house to where I work, I listen to the oldies to get my sanity before I start playing that.
How far back do you go? When did you start? Now, you've not only been doing the DJ thing, DJs on the Run, but you were also, people that don't know, Paul for many years was Peter Tripp around this area, was in radio, and you were involved in radio before you even got to this side of the country.
Peter Tripp, the curly-headed kid in the third row, that came from New York. That's where I started.
Okay.
My story's about this guy. We were coming back from Greenville in two separate vans.
She'll get out.
At somewhere near 100 miles an hour. We stopped somewhere and cooned some apples.
Corner of
apples.
37 and Apple.
That's right. And we're having an apple fight, two vans going down the road about 100 miles an hour. I'm driving, he leans out the window, throws one, he goes, I got him! And I heard, and he comes back in, he's like this. He had applesauce in his hair. They nailed him right in the forehead. Okay, that's enough now, okay.
And what kind of hair did he have?
He had frizzy perm kind of hair.
That was Mark Pierce that threw it, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was. It was Mark and OG was driving.
OG was driving.
Yep. Yep. So that's the first one that comes to mind. One the time he farted on the microphone. That was fun. Playing background music at a place. Nurse's party.
Nurse's party?
I don't want to tell about the rest of that.
Okay, yeah, no, yeah.
Got the microphone in his hand. Got the microphone in his hand. Hey, he goes,
stay down.
Hey, I wonder if they'll hear this. Everybody turns and looks. He ducks down. And they're all looking at me. It wasn't me that time. I would own it if it was me.
Whole thing back up.
Okay.
Most of the stories you're going to hear are about me and
Well, that's what I'm hoping for.
And of course, I'm tanked up. No. Mark didn't drink that much. He was still sober. Well, I went up. I said, I'm going to go get another pitcher of beer. Well, the bride was standing up there. She had three brothers that were there with her. She stops me. She says, hey. I go, yeah. She said, you the DJ? I said, yeah. She said, how about you and I go out in that van out there and have one last fling before I go home? I said, wait a minute. I put the picture down, walked back to Mark, pulled the plug. I said, that's it. We're out of here. I mean, three great big guys standing there when she said that. I mean, come on. I can see a setup when I did that last one.
Do it.
Can't. Yeah.
Oh, catch him.
Right.
Is that better? Or do we want to do this one? That one looks good.
Yeah, well, we're on.
Yeah, we're on.
Okay.
All right, so we still doing what, a fistful of 45s like we were doing, or what are we doing?
That's what I got in front of me.
All right.
Anyway.
So go ahead and get into it.
You know, we do reminiscing we used to do every week. We haven't done it for about 2 years now.
We've been revamping.
Revamping? Is that what it is?
Revamping.
Yeah, we bought some new VHS players. But anyway,
I got all my Christmas decorations out so it doesn't echo around. Moo.
But the big thing that happened in the last year or whatever is that you got rid of DJs on the Run. It's no longer...
Well, we didn't get rid of it.
Well, you don't...
We kind of slid out of it.
Yeah, you got out of it. So the business
kind of forced out of it.
Yeah. But, so you did it for how many years? 40 what?
45.
45 years.
45 years.
Going to be 80 soon?
In October.
All right.
I'll be hitting 80, and I'm surprised I'm still up walking around and still DJing.
Yeah, and because you're still doing it, even though it's not DJs on the run anymore.
Right, no, now
But
it's...
there's a tax person out there, he's not doing it. No, he's not really doing it.
Well, who cares?
That's true.
No, but the nice thing is...
Well, you can make up to a certain amount of money now that you're
Well, yeah.
old.
Oh, yeah, I can make all the money I want now that
Yeah.
I'm old. Now that I'm old, I can make all the money I want when I can't make it.
Yeah.
There's nobody around.
Wants to hire a bunch of old guys, yeah.
But what's nice is in the front of the speakers now it says "Rockin' the Oldies" with PT and OZ.
Right. So, yeah, you saw how many people picked us up for that, right?
Yeah, all right.
Hey, I want to book that PG and OZ guy.
Yeah.
I see him on YouTube all the time.
Of course, where I'm playing now, they can't see the front of this thing anyways.
Well, the music today, anybody that's listening to the music today wouldn't be listening to us anyway.
No, you're absolutely right.
So,
But boy, it was
old timers that are still left. Is all.
It was a long run, though. I'll tell you what, it was a long run.
So, speaking of that, let's start from the beginning. How did you get this whole thing started?
Well, you know how that started? That started back in Schenectady, New York, when I was a kid. Back in the early 50s. I'm talking 51, 52. I had a bedroom that was over the garage. It was kind of away from the house.
Kind of like Fonzie.
Yeah, right. And you went into my room. It was a long room. And my cousins would come over to visit. John, Eva May, Kurt. And we would start singing. How much is that doggy in the window? Wake the town and tell the people. Cross over the bridge. That's how I got into music. I can't sing.
No.
I can't
I did
carry
sing
a tune.
alongs all the time when I was a kid too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I sang in the what was it called? The blue jacket choir in the Navy. I did get in as a I will sit you over here. Just don't say too much section.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
So you just kind of went, oh.
Right. Yeah, kind of thing like that. Anyways, that's where I got started. It was singing up in there, and I liked some of that old music. I just started. It just da 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 da, just that kind of a beat, and then unfortunately Elvis came out.
Yeah.
In the summer of '55, in Vermont, we had a summer camp in Vermont, and that's where I started my listening to my ham operating stuff. And he came out with Heartbreak Hotel. And that was the first rock and roll song I really had heard. Although I did hear Rock Around the Clock by Bill Haley in 1953. And that stuck with me. But the period between 53 and 55 was still Patti Page and Perry Como and Frank Sinatra and good singers like that, which we don't have anymore today. Right. But then when Elvis came out with that Heartbreak Hotel, that did it. And then it was all, my parents said downhill from that. I said uphill from that, because that started the whole thing right there. And then I was in, I guess you would say, grade school, elementary school. Our school went to the 8th grade. By the time I hit high school, I was DJing for the schools in that area. And that's, playing Bo Diddley and Little Richard. And that's what started it.
So that goes back more than 40 years.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're talking 53, 54, 55.
Playing your little 45s. And
playing little 45s. And actually what I did was what I took out was my father's standing. You had a piece of furniture.
Well, yeah.
With the
flip top,
Yeah, right. A couple of speakers. I used to carry that thing into the schools. Yeah. But then I used to skip school. I guess I shouldn't say this, but I used to skip school and go down, and I got a job in the local record shop. And I can't remember. I know where it was. I know the corner it was on in Schenectady, New York, but I can't remember. Apex Record Store. And through that...
So kind of like Ajax Liquor Store.
Yeah. But through that, working in that store, I got to know a lot of people around the downtown area, and I got my first DJ job on the air at WSNX in Schenectady, New York. It was kind of like the real gold stations that you talk about today, low-powered, local, and that's where I started DJing. And then I got what you call the big break, and I went to WPTR, TRY, 1540 on your dial. Top 40, news, weather, and sports. And that was in Troy, New York.
Okay.
Tri-City areas were Albany, Schenectady, and Troy. The Tri-City areas, because Albany was the capital of New York. And that was my big break, because from there, I did a stint in WABC in New York City. And boy, don't you think that wasn't fun.
Yeah.
And then I went to WKBZ in Buffalo, New York. 50,000 watts,
No, it
baby
wasn't KBZ.
cakes. KBW.
KBW. Yeah.
KBW, 50,000 watts.
Yeah.
And that's
a lot for an AM radio station.
yes, it was.
Oh yeah.
Boy, let me
that
tell
baby
you,
bounced everywhere.
that thing went all over the place.
Yeah.
Just like that one station is at a I don't know if they're still
amplitude modulation. You got some
right.
big
Yeah.
amplitude going on with 50,000 watts on an AM station.
there. Right. Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Where was it? In Virginia, I think it was. The big, powerful radio station. I forgot the name of it back then. But anyways, during that period of time is when I saw, it was only about a 2 or 3 period of time that I did all this, because then I graduated from high school in '58 and went into the Navy. I DJ'd and kept that going there. And that period of time between 55 and 58, was 3 years, is when I met all the artists.
Yeah.
Shaughnessy Hall in Schenectady, New York, the RPI Field House in Albany, and I can't remember the big place in New York City. And then they had the Beep Hall out there in Buffalo, Shaughnessy Hall, and this is where I saw all the big artists and backstage.
Like.
Well, you name it. Buddy Holly before he had the plane crash.
Yeah.
Fabian, Annette Funicello, my sweetheart.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that you
Paul Anka.
telling me the story about when you went to interview Annette Funicello and you said,
That's just about the way it was, too. Because I first saw her on Mickey
Club.
Mouse, the
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah.
And then she started to grow up a little bit, and she couldn't be on that show, so
Yeah,
she went
yeah.
on her own. And
Yeah.
you know the story after that. Little Richard, Elvis, Fats Domino, Jerry Lee Lewis,
Did you
Carl Perkins,
Connie, you ever meet Connie Stevens was later.
Connie Stevens. Yep.
You did meet her?
She was late 50s.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Got a
And,
chance to see her.
Yeah.
I could.
Sandra D?
You know.
No.
No. It happened so long ago that sometimes I get the places mixed up. You know,
Oh, yeah.
from where I saw all these artists, but there isn't too many that I didn't see. When you got into the 60s, the newer artists into the 60s that weren't around in the 50s, no, I didn't get a chance to see them. I did see some after that while I was in the Navy. I was on American Bandstand.
Okay.
Got a chance to, because I was down in Norfolk, Virginia, so I happened to jump to Philly. And Gary U.S. Bonds, but he was in the 50s too, and I think I saw him before. I saw him at Daddy G's.
Chuck Berry?
Chuck Berry, yeah, we saw him in Albany. He was in Albany. Elvis was in New York.
How'd you feel when you met Elvis? I mean, he's the one that got you, yeah. He's the one that kind of got you.
I mean, because by the time
hooked on rock and roll.
I met him, it was, oh my God. You know, even me.
Yeah.
A big deal. Elvis? Oh my God. You know, something wrong with my lip.
Yeah.
Especially at the time he when they were having a party in Buffalo. Who was it? It was one of the other Palisades Park. Freddie Cannon.
Freddie Cannon.
Freddie Cannon. And he invited Elvis. Well, Freddie Cannon was there, and some of the big A&R people and stuff like that. And we just happened to be. I was doing the Mike Shannon, helping Mike Shannon do the Mike Shannon Show. By the way, I helped write that song. It was a big hit, top 10 music. Anyways, he was having some kind of a party. I don't know what it was. Well, Elvis was invited when nobody expected Elvis to come. We're all sitting there, we're drinking, having a good old time. And of course, I'm just sitting there, look at me, man. I'm with all these big people. All of a sudden, somebody comes through the window. in the back instead of coming up the front. It was Elvis.
Oh yeah.
Well, he couldn't come in the front door. There was too many people. So he went up the back stairs, came through the bathroom window.
Came in through the bathroom window. I wonder if that's where the Beatles got the song. Maybe that's where they met Elvis, through their bathroom window. Well, what about you? Have met Wolfman too.
Oh yeah, he came into WKBW.
Yeah.
There one night at the midnight show. he was on his way from New York City to El Paso, Texas, I think, or something. He was from that area down in there.
Yeah.
He had a big place he went to down there, and he knew Mike. I think the guy's Mike Shannon. The last name was Shannon. I'm thinking it was Mike Shannon.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, and so he knew him. So he just stopped in one night, and I happened to be helping him out. Stayed overnight. My parents let me do that once in a while.
Yeah. Did you ever meet?
And he came in. He came in. He only spent about 5 minutes with us, but he was on the air.
Yeah. You shake your hand.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
And how about Dick Clark? Did you ever meet him?
Yeah. Well, I was on the show. I was on American
Yeah. But I
Bandstand.
mean, did you meet him or anything? Or
Oh yeah.
Was he
Part of the
nice guy?
dancing crew.
Nice guy. Oh, you're
yeah.
part of the dancing
I was
crew.
part of the dancing crew. I don't think I ever.
You were part of the dancing crew.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What do you think I was going to do? Sit in the balcony? I was a star, man.
Yeah, okay.
I was a big time star.
Yeah. I've seen you dance.
Yeah, well, it never got on the air though. But
No.
and then I was
probably because you danced.
yeah, probably. But I was in uniform. I was in the Navy at that time.
So you just kind of like.
I can't remember. I was having a ball. But I was there.
I guess. Yeah.
I was there when one couple was real popular. The name is I can't remember the name. I'll remember it once we leave here. I'll remember. Yeah. But they were a very popular couple. She was gorgeous. He was well, never mind. But anyways, but they never got together after the show.
Oh really?
Yeah. There are a lot of those stories I could tell about stuff like that. But Dick Clark was nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
He's
talked to the artists. He talked just like they show on some of the replays. He sat down, he talked to them, and there was a green screen and stuff like that. I didn't know what it was back then.
Right.
It was up until I met you. I found out what a green screen was.
And working for WKBZ. 50,000 watts.
No, KBZ was here. That was
KBZ. Where did I work? KBW. Yeah, the big station in Buffalo, New York.
Okay.
I forgot the call letter.
Was this pre-chicken wing at the time, or did they? I'm just curious. Or were they making chicken wings in Buffalo, or was it before then even?
Well, we did the night show. We did the overnight show. The Mike Shannon show.
Okay.
That was a real big thing. The howl and everything else, and that's the story I tell.
Which Mike Shannon's a very well-known personality.
Yep. Right. That was great.
So how long ago was this?
This is back in 1955, 56.
That was when you first started gigging in radio.
Yeah. Well, I did it in high school.
Wow.
I took a local little record player out and did it back then.
Wow.
When Elvis first came out. Then when Bill Haley first came out. That's what got me interested in music. I went to college for meteorology. Now this is the bad part. I went to college for meteorology. Lasted a year. Elvis came out, and the rest is history. And I don't know whether I kicked myself in the butt for not sticking with the meteorology, or I had a good life, made a lot of money, had a good time. I still love
George
music.
Lessons spot, man. You could have been George Lessons.
I could have been George Lessons. Yeah.
You could have. Bill Steffen. There's all kinds
Bill
of guys
Steffen,
you could have been.
Craig James.
But instead, you're Peter Tripp.
Yeah, I'm Peter Tripp.
Back in the day, how about with Elvis? Everybody says he was just the consummate gentleman, real nice guy, great to interview, very respectful, and all those things.
And I knew him before he got into the drugs and stuff. I remember him, and he did. He was always, he didn't come out with something wrong with my lip. He would. Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. That was the type of person he was. And I think a lot of it was he was shy. He was shy at first.
Yeah. Yep, I think he was.
He was.
He came across that way. All right, so you end up here in West Michigan. We don't have to go through the entire process of that, but
No, that's not really interesting.
yeah. And then you start DJs on the Run in 1972. Is that?
Yeah, yeah. That was yeah.
He looks at his press secretary Oscar to make
I know
sure
it.
he's
Yeah,
got
well,
the
you know, when you're 80 years old, the memory is
Right.
not as sharp as it was when you were
Yeah.
a teen. So
You have your own resident historian,
Right,
Oscar.
yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that you got that.
actually, we started Paul's Platter Pad.
Paul's Platter Pad.
Remember
I was
Platter?
not here.
No, but Platter
Yeah,
was,
yeah, right.
okay, that's old talk, yeah.
Really, the name of the business was Paul's Platter Pad?
Yeah, that was my wife's idea.
How long did that take you guys? Were you sitting around the kitchen table for hours coming up with that one?
Yeah, all right.
No problem. Named all the kids, no problem whatsoever. Just can't name the company.
Well, I'll tell you what. Paul's Platter Pad came out because we're still sitting on 16,045 sitting in my basement.
Really?
So that's where the platters came out.
I'll bet some people I bet you some of the vinyl collectors just started drooling over that.
Yeah, well, they're interested.
What are you doing, saving those for your retirement?
Yeah. What retirement?
Yeah, that was my point. Wow, you still got them. You still got the 45s.
Yeah, in fact, I got one that was pressed in 1952.
That would have been one of the original 45s.
Yeah.
Back in 42.
There's a lot of history there. There's a lot of history, but
You
I
said
just
the
love
78s,
it.
you got rid of those, though, didn't you?
No, I still got
still got
78s
those
too.
too?
Yeah, I still got
Wow.
78s. Yeah. Nothing to play them on, but we still got 78s. That's
No
all gone.
Victrola? You don't have a Victrola, though.
Yeah, well, we do. Yeah.
Couple.
I still can play.
Do you still own the dog that's on all the records? Or
Yes,
not? You know,
yes,
very old.
that
About
was-
75 years old.
Right,
now,
that
too,
was
as well.
donated to me by RCA. Yep.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Jeez, oh, Pete.
you should tell them what he used to take out the first time when you used to go out, too, the big horseshoe.
Oh, yeah. Well, because back in my day when I was on radio, they had the big horseshoe. And you had your record players all around you, where you went back and forth and stuff like that. So that was the first unit we built. Great big horseshoe, reel to reel, 45s, albums. We did it all right there. I don't think we had anything else.
We had 8 tracks later.
We had 8 tracks later.
Did
yeah.
you actually, at DJ services, actually used 8 tracks?
We actually played the albums and the 45s.
I could see that. Well, the albums
Yeah.
and 45s, it's easier to navigate, but an 8-track, if you wanted a certain song
we
to be
tried
played,
it.
you just had to wait for 3 or 4 songs to go through.
Well, we found
there was
that
no
out.
rewind and
Yeah.
no fast forward on those things.
Well, we rewound them. 8 tracks, and then, well, this guy here is the reason I kept going. Darn it all, I was doing good with the albums, the 45s, then the 8 tracks came out, and then we went to what?
Tapes.
Cassettes.
Then we went to the cassette tapes, and then this guy kept going forward, and he said, well, you ought to go CDs. I'm going, no, I like the tapes. You better go CDs. No, I like the tapes. So when the CDs were about ready to go out, I started to do CDs. Well, now you're looking at mini disc, right? Then we go for mini disc.
Oh, you actually did the mini disc
Did the
thing?
mini disc
Okay.
too, but then I came, and then,
Then I finally talked him into using the computer. So.
yeah.
Really? You didn't? So, Oscar, you didn't do DAT tape?
I
Come
did.
on, I'm
I
surprised
did.
you didn't.
Almost.
I'm sure you did.
I
Oscar,
did.
you
Yeah,
got
I
a
did.
DAT machine at home. I just know you do.
Well, I did that when I worked with the station in Grand Rapids.
Digital audio tape,
Yeah,
is that what
yeah.
that stood for?
Yep.
Yeah, I switched them over to.
That was fun. That was
mini
fun.
disc, too.
But see-
Actually, I didn't mind. That wasn't a bad format. It just never caught on.
I know it. Well, see, now you know why I keep going, because there's always something new coming up, and it's a challenge.
So how do you...
I go out now to play music.
Most people
It's-
that are 80 years old aren't into technology at all, but you've had to grow with that as well, keeping the business going as long
Right.
as you've
Well,
had
that's
to.
because I was always behind in life.
I'll vouch for that.
I'm still trying to catch up.
Okay, so you're still on CDs. You're almost to the.
No, that's it.
I know. I'm just kidding.
All computer, all little
Little thumb drive.
little thumb drive. But
Flash drive,
that's the reason I go to the bar and play music, because I'm trying something new and I experiment. Oh, let's see how this sounds. I'll play it tonight. We'll change this. We'll change that. That keeps you going.
And yeah, how much do you attribute staying in the business, to staying young. I would like to know, in this country, how many 80-year-old dudes are still out playing music like this.
I'm not the only one.
But you might not be the only one, but there can't be too many. Man, I remember retiring when I did 2 weddings in my entire life, and that was too many for me. You got to be a special person to do that.
Well, you did one with me, remember?
I remember doing one with you. I did do one with you. I remember that out at the VFW out on Apple Avenue many years ago.
We sure did. So see, you had your finger in it too.
Everybody's worked for this guy at one time. Greg Roberts, everybody's worked for him.
Everybody. Yeah,
Scott Christmas, a lot
That's
of people.
been fun though. I had fun.
Yeah, sure. Okay, we were in the Navy. I said, let's go down to the so-and-so restaurant downtown here and get something to eat. He says, I can't go down there. Because I was dumb. I didn't know what he was talking about. Yeah. What do you mean you can't go down there? He says, black people don't go down there. I said, oh, come on, you're in the Navy with me. I'm like, what the heck? So I pestered him enough, the poor guy. He says, okay, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we went down there, and we're just a-tooling down. We walk into this restaurant, we grab a booth, and I didn't notice people looking at us. I mean, people look at you all the time. So we sat down in the booth. Yeah, and we waited, and we had uniforms on, believe it or not. Yeah. We were in our Navy outfits. We sat down in this booth, waited and waited and waited. And all of a sudden, this waitress, a cute little thing, waitress comes up and she says, sir, she said, I can serve you, but I can't serve him in this place. And I said, what are you talking about? And he's kind of looking at me going, like that. Well, I told him, I didn't know what he was talking about. She says, we can't serve colored people in this establishment. And I looked at her with, this is something new to me.
Yeah.
I'm 18.
Well, if you're not brought up to be
prejudiced or the people are different. So I just looked at her and I said, if you can't serve him, you can't serve me. And we got up and we walked out. He says, I'll take you over to my side of town. Then I got worried. You're going to take me up. If they treat him here, how are they going to treat me over there?
Yeah.
So he took me over. He says, you ever been to Daddy G's? They met the Church Street 5? And I says, no. He says, come on. He says, I think Gary U.S. Bonds is in there tonight. We went over, walked in. It's just like some of the movies, the old-time jazz movies you see with Bing Crosby and stuff like that, where the white people come in and sit down in the black club and hear the blues. It's just the way it was. We walked in there, sat down. They accepted me. We had a good time, and that's where I met Gary U.S. Bonds, the Church Street 5, on Church Street.
Okay.
At Daddy G's.
Daddy G's.
Daddy G's.
Okay.
Never met Daddy G, but...
Yeah. Huh.
So what other stories is there?
Well, okay, that's how you pretty much got into the love of music. How did you, how many years later did it take you before you finally started DJs on the Run?
Well, I liked music so much, and I had collected records ever since I worked in that Apex record store.
Right.
And I even was buying records, collecting records when I was in the Navy. So I ended up with about 3,045s. And my wife said, well, why don't you start a record club? When I was a kid, going way back to the start, I had a record club called the Blue Streak Record Club. And the guys would give me so much money, and we would buy 45s. It was a club,
Yeah.
So my wife says, why don't you start a record club or a record store? I said, okay. So we started Paul's Platter Pad. You remember that?
No.
You know? No. Yeah, we started Paul's Platter Pad. And we did that before we were still on Dyson Street. In fact, I think I still have a little figurine or a sign that says Paul's Platter Pad. And then we decided, I was in Baker College, and they had some dances, and they asked me to DJ, and that's where that Kenwood amp came in.
Oh, okay. All right.
That was the first amp I took. That was the good old Kenwood, where you had to switch it to talk and then go back to the music. Yeah. There was no fade.
No mixers.
No mixers. But I'll never forget it because I had him dancing, and I was going to make a smart remark to one of the guys I went to school with, and I made the remark, you cut the song off there, and they all walked off.
Really?
So I lost them. But that's how I started DJing.
And my wife says, well, why don't you start a DJ business? I said, okay, what are we going to call it? So everybody came up with a few names. And there was a DJ, he was a handicapped kid in New York City. And he had a business called DJs on the Run. So I more or less, because I'm in a different state, took his name, and that's how we came up with DJs on the Run. It started DJs on the Run.
Okay. All right.
And that was in 1972 or 71.
And you started building your own speakers, and when did that start?
Started building my own speakers right away.
Oh, okay.
I started, of course, I didn't put the amps together. I did back in the 50s.
Right.
My first amp was one that I built
Yeah, because you and I had shared that in common too. We both worked in electronics for
right.
with
For a long-
audio.
yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things that
It wasn't really
were
called
missing.
video.
You know
It wasn't
what I mean?
really called video there. It was called audio and
Audio, yeah, before you got into the
and
video.
television. Yeah. TV repair, I guess it was. Yeah.
But now I'm sitting on 13,045s, 600 LPs,
And that's
600 CDs. I don't know how many cassettes. We just kept some of them around for nostalgia,
Yeah.
like the 8-track
and you
player
even
and the
keep the
8-tracks.
8-tracks. Yeah. And
Yeah.
you're the only person I know that has an 8-track player that's quad.
Yeah. But it was a lot of fun because we haven't even sat down and talked about all the things that have happened, and things flash back to me. I can go way back.
Well, yeah, because
I can go back again and say, hey, I was telling you about Wolfman Jack, and
Yeah.
then something else will come up that happened at whatever that station was.
Yeah,
See?
not KBZ, but
No.
yeah.
Well, we were there too.
You were there too. Yeah, but
We were
that's-
there, too.
That's later on.
That's a
not-
lot later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was all good too.
Oh yeah, but as far as electronics, I don't
That's
think I've
somebody's
ever.
heel?
Looks like it, don't it?
Okay.
Whatever. How did you?
Besides us two, there's another
A
heel
couple
on the floor.
heels, yeah. What got you into electronics? How'd you get into that?
I worked for GE Aerospace Electronics in Utica, New York.
Okay.
But when I was a kid, I liked building, so I took a correspondence course in electronics, and
Okay.
that's how and then I played with it as we went along, and then like you said, I built my own speakers, and some of the DJs went with a electric crossover, but I
Yeah.
used the passive. The
Yeah.
passive is the capacitor, the coils.
In the Hilton, when I had that, it was all electric.
Yeah,
crossovers,
electric.
yeah.
You can adjust it. You know.
Yeah.
With it, yeah. And
Never could get it right either.
hooked up with Matasound, and that's where I ended up buying all my speakers.
Which you've never been to yet.
No, and
Definitely have to go to Wisconsin one
yeah.
of these days so you can see it.
But they're still in business because I just bought some more voice coils for the.
They're probably in Japan and call themselves from Wisconsin. But anyway,
Could be. But anyways, that's how that started, and I've actually got my own crossover design that I got help with at Matasound that we still use today.
yeah, and they sound pretty good. You get some pretty
Yeah.
rugged bass out of some of that stuff
Yep.
too.
I can blow
It's
most
clean.
people away unless
Oh, yeah.
it's a
But
big
one thing I
500,000
found
pound.
out too that really helps a lot is the amplifier.
Mhm.
You got a good clean amp that helps a lot. So
Well, yeah, we started with that Kenwood, which was what, I think 100 watt,
yeah, probably 120 or something like that. Yeah,
and then we went up to the Sound Craftsman,
yeah.
the PM 860s, and the PCR something.
I remember the Sound Craftsman too. When we played those, it was like red light, turn it down some.
Yeah, turn the bass down, turn the bass down. Red lighting.
They got a couple of guests in the studio with me. Paul Phillips is here along with Oscar Osbo, and both guys that have been in radio for a couple of million years, not to mention the fact that Paul Phillips had DJs on the run for, well, just about 50 years, 40-something years, and he is still out there DJing at 80 years old. I'm so damn impressed by that. It either takes a lot or doesn't take much. I'm not sure which, but that's impressive.
I'm glad you
That's
said.
impressive.
I'm glad you said he's still out there doing DJing because I didn't know what I was doing.
Is that why you got Oscar with you? He lets you know what you're
Let
doing.
me know what you're doing. Yeah.
What's it? One thing people probably don't think about is hauling equipment, man. You got to bring an extra person with you to get all set up and stuff now? Because you look like you're still in pretty good shape.
We never had to, but we do now.
Takes two of us to lift those woofers now.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
So,
We still got the big, powerful systems, which a lot of people don't care about today, but we did back in the old days.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nowadays, what do they have? Speakers the size of a cigarette package that can fill
The Bose.
400 by 200 room full of
Right.
sound. Yeah.
I come out there and I set up 2 columns of speakers, 4 woofers, 4 mid-ranges, 4 tweeters, and they say, is the roof going to stay into place?
And 4,000 watts.
And 4,000 watts.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Back when you worked with me, I think we had 600.
The guys that fly jets got nothing on you, Paul.
But yeah, with the lasers now too, you got all that stuff.
Yeah,
too,
the
so.
laser lights, you know.
All right, as a DJ service, what was the first song you ever played? Do you remember or not?
Probably an Elvis.
No, it was off of, when did Saturday Night Fever come out? When did the disco,
The Bee Gees.
the Bee Gees? I think it was KC and the Sunshine Band.
Okay.
It was their first hit.
In 72?
No, I'm
They
talking.
were 75. What are you talking about? He said the first one you ever
72. Yeah, I can't remember. I remember that because it was in college. It was up there at Baker College. I was doing a dance.
Yeah.
And we used the old Kenwood.
played. Oh, yeah.
We had the
old
Kenwood.
lamp, yeah.
But I can't remember what the first song was.
All right. I thought maybe that indelibly stuck in your
Well, do you remember
in your
the
brain.
first song you played at the radio station? KBW. Lots of silence
What
on
are you-
radio here.
What are you?
I
What are
don't.
you? 80?
Yeah, you got it. Well, see, I probably could come up with it if you give me a couple of weeks.
Right. All right. Now here's a question. I actually wrote down all the years you've been doing DJing. You've done a few hundred weddings. You've done so many different things. I wrote down what I think are the 4 most popular songs you've played over those 40 years. Why don't you give me what are the top 3 over the last 40 years most requested songs you've had to do at DJs on the Run?
Elvis Presley.
Really? Now, specific songs.
Yeah, I'm Can't Help Falling in Love.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool and the Gang, Celebration.
That's on my list.
And Bob Seger's Old Time Rock and Roll.
That one is not on my list.
What about
Those are your one. How about
CCR?
I got the Hokey Pokey on here.
Oh, yeah, they used to do that.
Yeah, we used to do it, but it wasn't that big.
Bird
No, I'm
dance.
talking about how many times you've played it over 40 years.
Proud Mary.
That's one I didn't think of.
I'm giving you the songs that we played the most. Hokey
Okay.
Pokey.
What about,
yeah,
you know what I
along
had,
with a couple of
You know what I
polkas.
had on here?
Shook Me All Night Long.
I had Bad Bad Leroy Brown on
Yes.
here.
Oh, yeah,
well,
that
that
was
was
a big
yep,
one, is it
Yep,
not?
that was a big one.
And for the newer, how about My Prerogative, Bobby Brown?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Big
Yep.
one.
Yep.
You want to guarantee to fill a dance floor. you
Right,
put that one.
absolutely. During that period of time, whenever that was what, 80s or
But
something
the 80s,
like
we'd
that.
See, I forgot
rock
about
and roll
Proud
did
Mary and Old Time Rock and Roll. Old Time Rock and Roll is one of those that even the 80-year-olds get on
Well,
to that one.
the ones we still get away with, though, are like I Love Rock and Roll by Joan Jett.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
you
that
got
was a good one.
Shook
Yep.
Me All Night Long.
Shook Me All Night
AC/DC.
Long.
I mean, if you want to do the rock and roll stuff, we can Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Pour Some
Poison.
Sugar on Me. Yep.
Yeah. Watch the mic there.
Watch
It's
the
right in
mic.
front
Yeah.
of your face.
I know. I'm injured. Well, I'll
There
tell you what.
go.
Now I can tell you how we got worried. As time went by, when people said you were going to play Elvis and they said, "Who's he?" you knew you were starting to get in trouble. and then as time went by, we really knew we were in trouble when they didn't know who Bob Seger was.
Well, they used to list too. Please do not play Bob Seger Old Time Rock and Roll.
Yeah, they used to do this. So now,
So
here
when
we
did
are.
that start happening? When did people start giving you lists of things not to play?
Oh, it happened quite. No, I'd
happened
say
quite
when we got
quickly.
into the '80s, people started getting, because the disco came out, and then you started getting a little controversy there, and people would start getting a little picky on don't play that. We didn't want to play. Was it Johnny Cash? No, Jerry Lee Lewis.
Oh, okay.
And I said, after the thing was over, I said, why do you want me to play Jerry Lee Lewis? Well, I guess they had somebody in the family that had a bad thing happen with Jerry Lee Lewis.
Okay.
So that's, something like that. Okay, that's fine. I don't care.
He kind of fancied really, 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 really young girls, if I remember correctly. Old
he
Jerry
did.
Lee did.
Yeah, he was kind of a smarty too. When I met him, he had that, who are you? And look at me, and
He was a little bit cooler than he really was. He thought he was cooler than he was.
Elvis was the most polite person I met.
Okay.
The funniest person was, see, it's 80 years old now. I got to come back, and I'll come back in a couple of weeks, and I'll be able to come up with a lot of these things.
You have to write it down and put it in Braille.
Huey,
this is way more fun.
The guy that did, gee whiz, I met him at the RPI Fieldhouse in Albany, New York, too, and I can't remember a week.
I know you said you did.
Don't you just know it? Don't you just know it? Oh, no, I don't want to sing. That's right.
Yeah, that's probably not a good thing.
Huey Smith.
Yeah.
Chicka-boom, don't you just love it?
Don't you just love it? Huey Smith, he was funny. He was funny.
Piano wasn't a Piano Smith or something like that, or just Huey?
Huey Piano Smith.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He was funny. He was a clown.
Now, what about the Bopper? I'm sorry, Bill. What about the Bopper when you met him? Was he?
He was an old guy.
Yeah, because you were young then.
I was young then. He was old.
The
Big Bopper. Yeah. J.P. Richardson.
Yeah.
He was an old guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he went down on the plane with Buddy Holly, right?
Right, and along with Richie Valens. Yeah.
He wrote a lot of songs though too.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He wrote, produced, and stuff like that. And Paul Anka. I remember meeting him. Paul Anka. Neil Sedaka.
When you were having his baby.
When he was having his baby. So, hey, you got more questions? Or?
Yeah, what about one of the things that I was never very good at when it came to DJing weddings, since I only lasted through 2, one of them with you. What are some of the dumbest questions people have ever asked you while you're DJing? Or you get those 2 or 3 people that think they know what the other 300 or 400 want to hear.
Right. All that used.
This song.
Used to get.
How many times in your life, if I had $1 for every time somebody went up there and said, "Why did you play this song? This song sucks," and you look out and the dance floor is full. It's packed. People are having a great time, and somebody's telling you, "You're ruining the night playing stuff like this."
Or they'll come up and they'll say, "Play this song right now. Play this song." Oh, it'll get the dance floor, and it's some stupid song you never heard of, and
or a song that you know is not going to work.
Well, sooner or later, and this did happen more than once, you finally have had enough, and you say, "Look, go sit down. Let me run the show. I'm getting paid to do this. If you don't like it, complain afterwards."
Understandable.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Didn't happen that often. Most of the, a lot of good memories. But hey, we didn't do everything perfect. Not every gig was 100% good.
It's live, man. It's DJ, but it's still live, and it's still technology, and there's still wires and electricity, and a lot of things that you've got to count on in order for things to go right. So I would imagine, how often did that ever happen now? How about the worst? Like you walk in, you go to turn on the system, and it's dead.
It's dead, and that did happen to me once.
Many times.
Yes, but the one that's memorable, because I was...
Because you didn't get it back alive again?
No, I was the engineer. I was the guy that did this business. I made everything. I built everything.
Because you built all your own speakers and everything.
So we walk in. This is with Dale, Hippie Dale, and the amp goes out like this, and I'm going, "Oh my God, what are we going to do? This is the only amp." This is before we started keeping backup amps. We used to. After that, we started making sure we had 2. So this kid looks at it and he says, "You got a cigarette pack?" And I said, "Yup." The fuse blew, and I didn't have a spare one.
Yeah.
I'm panicking. He's cool as a cucumber. He takes cigarette pack, foils up, takes the foil out, wraps it all up, puts it in there, puts the cover on. Didn't have a bit of trouble the rest of the night. I'm supposed to think of those things.
That was was the close call.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of them, though. I mean, there was a time.
Yeah. What about you, man? You've been doing this long enough. Like stuff cutting out. I guess at the beginning, it would be better for things to cut out than if you're halfway through the set and all of a sudden stuff starts not working right.
He sent us one time. He sent me out to a place. I don't know. It was probably about 2 hours away, and he didn't send me with a mixer. That's what it was. I didn't have a mixer, and that's when we were using the mini disc players. So what I did is I ran one mini disc player to the amp, the other mini disc player to the amp with the luckily they had the phono jacks on them,
Right,
so I could play left speaker with one and right speaker with the other one, and turn them up with little headphone.
There was one time when we had
people loved us too. It's crazy.
We had a separate PA system for the PA. We kept it away from the music because I didn't like
because you didn't want feedback.
The mix didn't sound good. I didn't like the way it interfered with it. So we had two, and there was one time was it with you? The amp went down, so we ended up playing the music through the PA system.
But you had your backup right there.
Yeah, but ever since then we had two of everything, 2 amps. And,
so if you had to screw up with something, you were ready to go. You always had a backup.
Right. If you had plenty of speakers, if a tweeter went out or a woofer went out, you had plenty
Paul,
of them.
Oscar, you guys can answer this any way you want. What about technology now? A lot of, I'm sure the fly-by-night DJ business right now has to be
is booming
more. Yeah. What do you need? You need a couple $100 worth of speakers and a receiver
Internet. Internet. Yep.
And
mixer, mic.
The
computer, you're good.
The pros, what do you think about that, just going off the internet? That would be a little bit scary to me if you were doing a live DJ gig and you were counting on the fact that your internet wasn't going to break.
I've seen it happen.
Commercials start playing in the middle of songs, all those kind of things that happen.
Or the song gets downloaded, it's not what you thought it was, or you're trying to play a clean song and it ends up being dirty.
I've had that happen once or twice on the Irish show.
I want to hear the song first, and the people come up and ask for a song. I got a request list, and I say, just mark it down. And they come up and say, well, how come you haven't got this song? I said, well, it's because I never heard of it. You never heard of this? I said, there's a billion songs out there you don't really think I've heard and know every one of them, do you?
And he said, besides, I'm 80 years old.
Yeah, guys.
All they got to do is look at me. They already know that. But you know what I do? You know what I do now? I write the song down. If they get a little nervous over it, I'll say, write it down. I said, you come here a lot. I said, I'll have it for you next week. And I go back.
Oh, you'll do something like that for people.
I'll go back. I'll get it if it's a song.
Pay your 99 cents and
a lot of them want to play it on their phones. They want to play it off their phones.
I've had phones handed to me. Here, you can download it through this. I said, not in this system. You can't.
Yeah.
And they see that big system, and that scares them. So
I think it's you that scares them.
It's a combination of things, Paul, that scares them. It's not just the big system.
You scare me.
It's Big Daddy behind the mic too.
The high fan just started.
The fan kicked in. Turn it down.
And that was 600 watts, 300 a channel. We thought we were just cooking, man.
I know.
What have I got now?
Yeah.
I got a 4,000 watt.
Yeah.
You got 2,500 sitting over there.
Which I just listen to have fun.
Yeah, right. Well, that's all we do now. Yeah. I mean, our big day is over, so that's all we can do is sit here like this and reminisce.
Yeah.
With the things that we did, and we've got those memories, and I think that's the only thing that keeps us alive.
Yeah.
So we got the memories. We got good times with disasters, things that didn't go right,
and the 4 or 5 people that watch us on YouTube.
Yeah, well, that's enough. But hey, we have fun, don't you?
That's right.
You know anybody that wants 13,045?
Yeah, you can ask.
I can't sell them on eBay.
Yeah.
Nobody wants the darn thing.
Yeah, nobody wants that stuff anymore.
We went to Arby's. We're all full.
We got a brand new light up over here.
See my shirt anywhere better? Oh, there we go. You can see a little bit better there. Don't
I've
shoot
got
your eye out.
I got my old rags on.
Here's another
Very comfortable
angle.
old rags.
And of course, there's our turntable.
Yep.
Ready to play some oldies on PT and OZ or WIT PT and OZ. Rocking the oldies.
Oh yeah, good. We're there's a tavern in the town. Yeah, we know all about that. Oh, Melody of Love. Remember Melody of Love? Big hit.
Well, you can see my records and stuff. I got them. pinned to the wall where I put them. So
That's a
there you
good
go.
place for them. They're a
Yeah.
good wall decoration.
And of course-
That's CCR up there.
Yeah, that's a CCR 45 I found where where they still have the little cover on it and everything. So I put that up there. That's got the CCR medley.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, which I've never heard before.
No, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So anyway, and then of course the K-Tel records. Can't forget about the K-Tel.
Yeah, the K-Tel. Yeah. Then remember the pops and ticks. Then you had a pop and tick machine.
Oh yeah,
which
you
also affected your frequency
Yeah.
response, and we realized that as time went by.
did. Yeah.
And
I always gave it kind of a digital wavery
that
sound
was-
or something. I don't know.
right, it did something to the.
And then I
frequencies.
remember coming in on you when you're recording your 45s and they weren't quite right, so you'd be there with a pencil
Well,
just trying
pencil
to get it nice
or
and
a
straight.
smooth fingernail
Yeah.
to get because the
Yeah,
center
that's why
would
you
be
kept
off.
your long fingernail
I know,
long. You
right.
can't- you get the
Well,
45
the
straight.
center would be off. The machine at the record plant cut them crooked, and you put that little thing in the middle of the 45 to make it go around, and it would be.
yeah.
Well, you put your needle on when you're playing vinyl, and that's going like that, and you're getting and that. Besides that, then you've got the that was a big pop in there. They're going to hear that,
Oh,
or
yeah.
you get the
You got the sounds down. I feel like
And the
I'm sitting
worst-
there with Jonathan Winters.
Yeah, there was two companies that were the worst for that. Motown was one.
Oh, yeah, it was
Motown
terrible.
was the noisiest.
They were terrible.
The second one and the first one I ever heard with noise in was the Sun Record Company.
Yeah.
They had
Well, you've seen this, some of the equipment that they
I
had.
know it. They had some high hits
High
in
hit,
some of their songs.
yeah.
They finally got rid of it.
Well, digital cleaning it up digitally.
Yeah.
That's what did it. But yeah, because
I would have loved to have been in that part of it that actually went from the vinyl to the CD to the
That's what I-
MP3s.
exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
seen it, the technology, been able to, hey, we can take this out, and hey, we can do this. But
Yeah.
we missed out on that. We were
Well, you could do it
we
now
were too
with the
excited
Adobe.
in being stars.
Yeah,
you know
the
what I mean?
Adobe you can do that now. You can take out the pops and the ticks with the Adobe these days.
Yep.
But anyway, we're getting off on a different subject here. As far as you starting off on, I know, DJs on the Run.
Yeah.
That was what, your idea or Dory's idea or whose idea?
It was her idea to start the business, hers and her mother.
Okay.
They decided to let me go. I wanted to do something like that. So my wife, she was a little worried because I was, do you say immature for my age, or hadn't grown up to my age?
You still haven't grown up to
Still,
your
I know,
age.
I was still. And she was a little worried about me going out on my own. Her mother said, let him go. If he falls down, pick him, let him stand back up and go for it. And so that's
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah. And you did a few times when we were drinking.
Oh, yeah, well, I've done it a couple of times. But that was their idea to start the business. I came up with the name, and then we just went from there. And, well, we were the biggest thing
Yeah.
in West Michigan for...
Yeah, because
that was
you
what, it
basically
was
did Grand Rapids and
Yeah.
Detroit and
DJs on the Run.
yeah.
What's his name?
Tom Schaub.
Well, Schaub and Paul Holka, but the other big
Not
guy,
Tom Schaub, but
Shock.
Shock. That
Yeah.
was it. Quality
Quality Sound.
Sound. Glenn Miller.
Greg
Miller.
Miller. Greg Miller. He started the business, DJ business in West Michigan just before we did.
Okay.
A couple of years, I
He
think.
used like reel to reel, I think. Too.
Yeah. Oh well, well,
He had it all
I did it.
pre-programmed
Yeah.
too.
Well, I did it once too. I went out to that bar up there on the hill where Tex owned back in the old days. I had a record player. I played albums. I played 45s.
You played 8-tracks too, did you?
I played 8 tracks, and I played a reel-to-reel. I had all 4 of those things going at a New Year's Eve party up there.
Yeah.
And everybody, every time somebody came up to the table, I go, whoa, 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 bang, needle all over the place.
Well, didn't you have like the horseshoe table too that weighed about 400
that's what
pounds?
it was. Yep, the horseshoe. It took you 2 hours to set the thing up. Had lights all over it, which ruined the amps.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they were amp driven, the
Yeah.
power and.
Yeah,
We still
Oh, yeah.
in the archives have pictures of some of that stuff.
Oh, do you? Yeah, I've never
yeah.
seen that. I remember the DJs on the Run when you had the red covers on the speakers.
Well,
I've
we have
never
a
seen the
picture of
old
my
stuff.
wife and Big D sitting on those speakers. You know what we did with those speakers when we were all done with them? My kids used them for clothes closets.
Yeah, they're
That's
big.
how
They're
big
huge.
they were.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried that too, but that didn't make any sense when you tried to move them.
No, it didn't.
Especially if you go up on that stage, it was like, oh man.
And then they put rollers on them. And so one night, one of my DJs got a little too drunk and rolled the thing down the stairs. I said, okay, we won't put rollers on the speakers anymore.
Yeah, well, I did it. I did it without the rollers, so there you go.
Well, I think I did it too.
Yeah, those bass speakers are pretty tough, man. Rolled them down the flight of stairs, and they kept on ticking. Well,
Yeah.
they rattled a little bit, but you know, not.
we were a licensed business.
Anyway, okay.
So what else do you need to know?
Well, hey, you and I both. Well, I got into radio. I started working for you back in '83, '84, and that's when I got the bug for radio. Before I was there. I was working at WKBZ, which is right next to my house here, or WPBK rather.
Yeah.
And I got the bug for radio. So then I needed make more money because there was not enough money in radio at that time, and there never was. But I saw the ad in the paper.
Not in the old days.
Yeah, I saw the ad in the paper for a DJ come to where you live, and I came there, and you guys interviewed me, and you hired me, and never worked so hard in my life after that. Lifting those big old speakers and
you went out on your own.
Yeah, and I went out on my own for a while, but
Craig Van Kamen worked for us, and he went out on his own.
Yeah. And
so we started
a
couple
ton
of
DJs.
people.
Yeah, a ton of people work for you too. You got Greg Roberts, he worked for you. Scott Christmas worked for you.
Bill Marshell, he went out a couple times.
Yeah, my daughter worked for you. Both my sons worked for you. And
that's something else we taught these guys. Remember, you'd get these guys in that thought they'd want to be a DJ, but they'd have stage fright. You remember the old thing about talking on the mic?
Oh yeah, I never had a problem with that.
The hecklers would love to heckle you, and the guys would, get all rattled. And a few of the guys came back and told me it was the best thing I ever taught them. I said, when you've got the mic in your hand, you've got something to say. I said, you pick a spot in the wall and look at that.
Yeah.
Don't pay any attention to anybody down here and what they're doing. You just look at that wall, keep on going. Because if you look down, somebody's laughing at you, pointing at you, you're going to stumble. And that's, Mark Pierce is one of them.
Yeah, well, besides that, that was one thing I liked too, is I used to kind of, hate to say it, make it sound like I felt I was better than them, but I felt superior to them because I had the mic and they really couldn't do it because I had the power. I had the power, so to speak, at that time, and it was a different feeling to be behind the microphone than it was to.
And a lot of your hecklers,
dancing or whatever.
A lot of your hecklers were people that want to be MCs.
Yeah,
they would like to have been up there, and they can't be.
And they really got jealous when the girls came and rubbed their boobs on us and said, "Hey, we played this song."
Yeah, well, we won't get into that.
Hey, we didn't rub our boobs on them; they rubbed their boobs on us.
That's some of the little things that we could talk about for a long period of time.
Yeah.
I mean, we could keep this going for 10 days, I think, and not talk about the same thing twice.
Right, because DJs on the run, the stories just in that itself are way too many to even talk about. Well,
and I haven't even touched on all the little different things I can think of back in the 50s and early 60s when I was still DJing back and then there and into the Navy too.
Yeah. Well, this will be part one of the excerpt. So there you go, part one of
because we'll think of a lot more things.
Oh yeah.
But it was quite an experience. There's a lot of things I wish I could go back and change, and that I wouldn't have done that I did do.
Right,
some of them I'm not the proudest of, and some of them I just didn't make the right decisions. So, but that's all in the past. It all turned out okay.
Yeah.
I'm still married. Going on 50 years. So.
And you still was the same as me. We still put a roof over our kids' heads.
Yep.
We fed them. They never went hungry.
Put my kids through school and sports.
Through school. Yep. So there you go. Anyway.
So we did our thing.
Never were rich, but hey, we.
Well, we're rich because we're friends and we got families.
Yeah, we do. All right. So you want to end it there for now?
Sure. We can continue. We'll be continued.
Yeah, to be continued. Okay.
And if you don't like what you're hearing, we'll talk about something else.
We are out of this one. This hour went by ridiculously fast, and I appreciate you stopping by. And Paul, hope you're around 40 more years, man. Why not?
I will be, and we can do this again anytime.
I appreciate both of you guys coming in, and I think that's amazing that you're still rocking and a-rolling, man, because most people, by the time they are 80 years old, are not hauling woofers and tweeters around and concerning themselves with what the latest top 40 hit is. That's usually not their problem, but that probably keeps you young, huh?
It does. That's still a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't like doing wedding receptions anymore, but that's just because they're long, lengthy, but we still love playing the music.
You got to deal with the mother-in-laws, too. Those are always...
Yeah, right, yeah.
They're not as much fun as are they harder to deal with in 2019 than they were back in the day?
Yeah, because they're not as active as they used to be. You can't get the crowd on the dance floor. You're going to get 10 people out there.
Yeah.
There's 200 on the end. What do you want? Come on, let's get out here and dance. They just...
Yeah.
But
you got to look at the entire experience now, right?
I don't know, the last two that we did we had them out there. We had the dance floor pack. We
always get somebody in the dance floor.
Yeah, we had them out
there.
there.
But it's a different generation.
Yeah.
They're out there. These guys are out there doing dances, and they have good results, so...
And we still get girls, even though we're old as dirt, they still come up to us, rub their stuff against us, and say, "Would you play this song for us?" Even though we're 100.
I missed that.
I was going to say, okay, somebody throw some water on Oscar and wake him up from this dream he's having right now. Okay.
I want to follow you around a while.
Yeah, but even when we were young and those girls came up to us, we knew we were never going home with them anyway. So it didn't really matter.
Yeah,
they were just the when you anyway.
You played their song and they discarded you like a filthy dish rat.
Yep.
There you go. Paul Phillips, Oscar Osbo, thanks for stopping by. You guys, Paul, happy birthday to you, man.
Thank you,
many,
Bill.
many more. And obviously, you guys, you're welcome here anytime, man. You're driving by. If you know I'm here and you want to stop by and say hello, stop by and say
Will do.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks. Hey, we're on the air.
Doo-wop is here.
Doo-woppa. There you go. That's a good angle there. We'll start with that.
We'll call ourselves Reminiscing with the Doo-wop Hour.
Okay, and a fistful of 45.
And a fistful of 45s. Everybody vote. Call the show Fistful of 45s or...
Reminiscing of what we've been calling it for the past 30 years.
Yeah, or let's see. What else can we call Make It or Break It?
What was it? What was the name of your first DJ company?
Paul's Platter Pads.
Paul's Platter Pads.
You remember the
PT and OZ Platter Pads.
I know it. Hey, we could call it the Platter Pad.
The Platter Pad. Hey, we're here at the Platter Pad.
Review and boo.
Here's the pad. Here's the platter.
There you go. Okay, now when I first started way back in 1953, it was called the Blue Streak Record Club.
Blue Streak?
Blue Streak Record Club.
Took on a whole new meaning in the 70s.
I know. Yeah, I know it.
Here he goes. He ain't got nothing on but a smock.
Too late.
Yeah. Okay. So we already we were
that,
talking about...
camera's blocking the light. It doesn't show enough light down
Okay,
here.
how's that? Is that better? You like that?
No, the camera is blocking the light.
Camera's blocking the light. Oh, that camera.
Yeah, that camera. What we're going to do...
This camera here.
Well,
okay.
Well, you know what? Wait, do that again.
Okay, you want to adjust?
Adjust. We're going to adjust.
Forward. Yeah.
Forward.
Okay. It's always the other opposite way that the camera looks.
There we go.
Okay, PT.
That's good.
That's good.
All right, so we
Boom, ba-da-doo, ba-da-doo, bum, bum.
All right, so people have said,
Good night, sweetheart. We just got started.
yeah, we haven't done this for almost a year and a half.
Well, don't tell the people that. I mean, we keep this going every week.
Oh yeah, we've been doing this for 30 years, so we take a break every once in a while. But hey, we're back and we're ready to roll, and we've got at least 80 45s here, and he's got another 1,300 in your
16
area over there. 1,600. 1,000.
16,000.
So hey, we could do this for another 30 years, but neither one of us would live that
We're
long.
going to be around. You might be, but I'm not going to be.
Hey, this gentleman over here, Mr. PT, has turned 80 years old.
80 years. Can you remember that? Look at, and I still got my hair too.
I know.
Look at that. Ain't that nice?
Yeah.
You better be careful.
Mine's getting kind of thin up top.
You better be careful. I'm 80 now. I might be looking at this camera like this. Which one's on? I actually think people wanted to hear music. You don't want to play this. Halloween's over.
So we don't want to.
Okay.
We don't want to
take
play
this
it?
one. There we go. That one's going.
Wait a minute.
Now, wait a minute.
I like that song. It can still be used
You
besides
think
Halloween.
I can do that? Think I can pull that paper cup?
I wish you wouldn't.
You know what?
I would like to keep those 45s, you know.
I never did hear the other side of that.
Okay, well, there we go.
The
Flip side of Purple People Eater.
Everybody knows about Halloween, famous Halloween music.
Halloween.
The backside.
We just celebrated Halloween.
And by the way, everybody knows Chef Willie was country and western, right?
Right.
Ah, you satisfied? Remember that one?
Oh yeah.
Rusty Draper made it.
Rusty. I remember that one.
Anyways, the backside of us. I can't believe.
I ate the whole thing.
I can't believe. Oh, you're mine.
You got your glasses.
No, and there's no light here. I can't believe you're mine, Chef Willie. Anybody want to hear it? I don't really care one way or the other.
Sure, why not?
Okay.